second article that was chosen was a study by Ambani and Garda. I might be mutilating those names, I'm sorry. The purpose of this study was to research the efficacy of telemonitoring self-reported blood pressures. It was a meta-analysis that meets the criteria for level of evidence 1. And the relevance to the PCOT again was the blood pressure was self-reported, and they used automated devices, and these had a memory function. Again, this study reported heterogeneity, so we know that those randomized controlled trials were not identical, and they also implemented a random effects model. You can see that the blood pressure was a little bit better. It reduced a couple more millimeters. You know, we're talking about 140/90, so every millimeter counts. This study also reported relative risk. This is a measurement of association between a intervention and the outcome. And the outcome may be desirable or it may not be desirable. In this case, it was desirable, and it was applied to both diabetic and non-diabetic study participants in both groups, in the intervention and in the control. And the study found that the diabetic participants in the intervention group were 1.31 times more likely to experience a normal blood pressure. So the significance of this is the potential to improve outcomes, not only for hypertension, but also for diabetes and other comorbidities of hypertension. It promotes self-management. You know, right now there's a shift in healthcare. We're trying to get people to take a larger role and be more responsible for their own health. We're not cutting out doctors. We're certainly not cutting out nurses. We just want people to take a little more responsibility. And this is promoting self-management. And it also, the use of the memory function, you know, that's ensures timely reporting. We have a record. And it's also timely and cost-effective because they're not having to go back to their healthcare providers for frequent blood pressure screenings. So these are the major findings of the literature review. We found guidelines for automated devices. We didn't find anything for home blood pressure monitoring, unfortunately. We found that it is effective. We did see some reduction in blood pressure. We found that we need more research. We need a lot more research into this, and we need gender-specific studies. Both of these studies included females, women as study participants, but they didn't target either gender, and we need that. And this joint scientific statement, this is a little bit outdated. It's from 2008, but I included it because it demonstrates that home blood pressure monitoring is not something new. It's been around for a while, but it has not generated it hasn't gained the recognition that it needs to generate the research to develop the evidence-based guidelines and practices for its use. Now in 2008, the American Heart Association, the American Society of Hypertension, and the Cardiac Nurse Association recommended that home blood pressure monitoring be implemented as a standard intervention in the management of hypertension, and that these automated devices be reimbursed by insurance companies. They can get a little bit pricey. They also recommended that the blood pressure cuff be placed over the upper arm. We want to know the pressure in that brachial artery. They recommended that healthcare providers demonstrate the appropriate use of these devices. If someone is diagnosed with diabetes, we just don't say, well, just go home and monitor your blood pressure. Just check it every now and then. You know, we don't do that, right? We teach them how to monitor it. They also recommended 12 readings over a 1-week period for clinical decision making. And they want those taken morning and night. And girls, we know what's happening at night, right? We're coming off for work and we're cooking dinner and we're cleaning the kitchen and we're yelling at the kids to do your homework and walk Fido, and we better be monitoring our blood pressure, right? We better be monitoring. So after 6 months, the PICO question was not answered. I'm a little bit sad because I wrote a beautiful paper and I had a really good PICO, but I couldn't tell you the efficacy of home blood pressure monitoring. I can tell you that we do have some evidence-based initiatives already in place, and these were developed by Healthy People 2020, and they include weight loss. I can't tell you how much weight we have to lose to get those numbers of 4 to 9 millimeters of mercury. 80% of Americans are not getting enough exercise. we need at least 150 minutes a week. And it doesn't have to be in large increments. We want everybody to do something they enjoy, get the heart rate up for 10 minutes. 2.5 hours a week. And you can spread it out over the week. You don't have to do it all at once. Walking, biking, swimming, whatever you're chasing the kids around the backyard. All of that counts, as long as it gets the heart rate up. We also need strength training 2 days a week. We need 8 to 12 repetitions of strength training. Has anybody seen those exercise bands? I was in Brookstones. I picked one of those up and I did a few stretches. And I thought, oh, I can do this. This is easy. I didn't make it to 10 stretches. They're very effective. And that counts as strength training. We want to exercise the arms, the muscles, the arms, the legs, the abdomen, all the major muscle groups. We want to get that strength training in there. And 2 days a week, 8 to 12 repetitions. Work up to it. Oh, yes. This is my little walking partner. This is Snowflake. And yeah, isn't he adorable? And I get strength training because I usually have to carry him back home. Yeah, so there we go. We're lifting the dog. He looks little, but he's a 10-pounder. He's heavy. Anyway, Snowflake and I we're very fortunate because we live walking distance to a beautiful park. It's on the St. Johns River. It's Mandarin Park. If y'all have children or grandchildren, I highly recommend you go out there and chase them around and get that heart rate up. It's a beautiful park. But we know from our windshield surveys that not every community has that, right? We have to, when we're telling people to go exercise, get out there and walk, chase the kids around. Well, where are they chasing them and where are they going to get this exercise? We have to think about that. We don't want the 65-year-old woman with her walker with Fido on a retractable leash heading out the door to go for a walk and there isn't any sidewalks in her neighborhood or the sidewalks are in bad repair. Well, we have to think about that when we're telling people to get more exercise. What do they have in their communities? The YMCA is wonderful. We can always recommend the YMCA, encourage them to get a membership there. They have the Silver Shoes program for older adults, and they also have low-cost membership for families that may not be able to afford a full-price membership. Wonderful place. And this is Healthy People 2020. Some of the objectives there are to build more public parks and more sidewalks. We see a lot of the newer home development now have at least one sidewalk on one side of the street, and that's largely due to the objectives of Healthy People 2020. Oh my goodness, I know we're going to talk about our diet. Really, already? Did I skip? Yeah, I already did exercise. Okay, let's talk about the diet. Boy, that typical American diet, right? Okay, a portion of meat should fit in the palm of your hand. If it's bigger than the palm of your hand, it's too much meat. Has anybody ever eaten a piece of chicken or a piece of steak or a pork chop with no seasonings on it?
No.
It doesn't taste. No, wouldn't want to, right? It doesn't taste very good. It really doesn't taste very good. A lot of the sodium in our food is there because we add it to make the food taste better. And that's one of the initiatives we have in place is to eat more whole grains, eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. Cut back on the steak. We don't need that much. We don't need that much meat. We get way more protein than we need. We can get protein from scrambled eggs. We don't need meat, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Anyway, this is a challenge for our families who are on lower income or on fixed income because fresh fruits and vegetables have to be eaten right away. And when you eat all the groceries, there's no more groceries. And payday might be 2 weeks away, right? So we have a lot of people out there who buy foods that have a long shelf life. They're buying canned vegetables, canned fruits, packaged meals that they can put in the freezer. They keep for several weeks. So we want to make sure that we're educating the people in our communities, that we're telling them to look for the heart healthy labels, look for things that are lower in sodium or salt free, that sort of thing. And as much as we can, cook your own food, really, because you have better control over what goes in it. And share that steak with somebody else.
I use the two-hand method.
And
fingers.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's let's talk about the alcohol. How many have heard that a glass of wine